Hey, Mark Avens here, your bulletproof Christian fitness mentor. Listen, it is that time of year, closing out 2020. You're ready? Thinking about 2021. There's just something about a fresh new year. I don't know where you're at or what you're thinking about getting started. Maybe you're considering hiring a personal trainer. And I wanted to jump on here quick before my phone dies and to discuss personal training. Now, I have 10 things that I want to share with you before considering, or if you're considering hiring, before you actually hire a personal trainer. I want to share with you 10 helpful things to consider before you actually go and hire one. Let me just preface now, if you come on this replay, obviously if you're live, you catch me live, you can participate, and I would love for you to participate. Just say hello, let me know down below you're here. Say hello, good afternoon, or maybe good morning, depending on where you're at in this world. And regardless, I know there's lots of people thinking about hiring a personal trainer in the new year. Why? Because I actually have been a personal trainer for over 2 decades, and I know that's what's hot. The new year, new you, New Year's resolutions, and it's time to hire myself. It's time to invest in myself and invest in a personal trainer. And this is purely just a give to you. Now, I don't currently do personal training. I'm an online coach, but I do want to help you if you are considering hiring a personal trainer. Having over 20 years of experience in personal training, I know there's some confusion, right? There's actually a lot of options for you when it comes to personal training. So I want to go through the 10 things. Actually, there's a lot more than that, but I want to go through 10 helpful things when considering hiring a personal trainer. Number one, and we'll go down, there's the list. Number one is credentials. Of course, you want to make sure that your personal trainer has the credentials. Well, what constitutes being the credentials one needs? Well, to be honest with you, there isn't. You know, the unfortunate thing in my industry, when I was personal training, there really wasn't any kind of certifications or credentials that are necessarily to becoming a personal trainer. In fact, you could potentially become your own personal trainer in the new year. You could go on the weekend and get some certification. I think there's over 250 right now, current certifications, and there isn't any standardized. There's just certain maybe health clubs that require a certain type of certification. But to be honest with you, the credentialing really, I've done them all. I've done over 20 different certifications in specializing in everything from golf and biomechanics, physical therapy, personal training, strength training, kettlebells, resistance bands, machines, spinning, kickboxing, everything and under the sun, and all with personal training. So credentials, while is important, make sure there are a couple. Ideally, you want to have somebody that has some sort of a formal degree. If they have a degree in exercise science, that would be really helpful. I have a degree in physical therapy. My background, I'm a physical therapist assistant. I don't practice it, but I have that degree. I have that background. I went through some rigorous training just to do the physical therapy part. Again, but there's lots of different options. So make sure if they have a background, if they have an undergraduate degree, they're probably pretty serious about that, at least in exercise science. So that's number one. Number two, experience. Of course, I always like to say this, if you were to have a back surgery, would you want to go to the back surgeon that has only done 4 back surgeries in the past year, or would you want to go to a back surgeon who's performed thousands of them, right? The reality is, I know if I were to ever need back surgery, I would want to go to somebody who has experience, who actually has worked with people in back surgery, personal training. You would want somebody that has at least a few years, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. You know, you can also have the wrong kind of experience as well. But experience is very important. So that's number two. Make sure that your personal trainer has experience, right? And if they're any good, chances are they're still doing it, because there's a lot of people that just kind of fly by night trainers. It's just kind of like a side thing for them to do, pass the time, go by, and maybe to make a little side income to their regular stuff that they're doing. That was me in the beginning when I was in school, and I just happened to kind of go with it. That was back in 95. Number three, personality, right? If you're going to be spending, now the average person works with a trainer for 30 minutes to an hour, 2 to 3 times a week. So you have to go and think about, if you're going to be spending an hour or two a couple of times a week, maybe 2-3 times a week, you want to make sure personalities match up. Of course, maybe some of your core values match up as well. Now, The hard thing about personal training now, if you're thinking about that, is what happens with the gyms closed down? What happens if the personal training centers closed down? So you want to make sure that that personal trainer has a good personality and can go with it, because they might need to train you online if everything shuts down again. So personality is important, right? If you have some of the same values, maybe you can share the same experiences. Maybe if you are in your 40s, maybe you're looking for somebody older. Maybe if you're in your 20s, chances are you're not in your 20s if you're on Facebook watching this. If you are, you may need to go find another social network, because I don't really know too many people in their 20s on this social platform. So personality is important, right? That's number 3. Number 4, you want to, philosophy-wise, right? Philosophy, you're like, oh, well, I don't need a philosopher. I need a trainer who's going to help me get stronger and help me get in better shape. Yeah, but still, like, you want to know somebody that actually what their philosophy is. If you're like, man, I want to get in better shape, but I'm not willing to give up my wine on the weekends. Like, then you want to make sure you find a trainer who is not so hardcore, because there's lots of trainers out there. There's some that'll maybe handhold all the way through. And then there's others that'll be like, legit, you can't have any more carbohydrates the rest of your life. So you might as well give up everything. You might as well give it all up right now if you want to get in shape. There's options in there. And then as far as philosophy goes, so make sure that you have, maybe at least you can kind of relate on that level. So number 4, that was number 4, that was philosophy, experience, personality. Number 5, so specialties, right? If you say you are a golfer, there's golf trainers out there. If you maybe are like you want to get bigger, like you want to build big muscles. Chances are, if you're watching me, you're probably not that person, but maybe you want to get really big and muscular. Well, you probably should find a guy who specializes in big and muscular. I'm not that guy. I like doing it for myself personally. I'm getting stronger, not necessarily bigger, but stronger. And I have somebody that helps me. I have a coach. Yes, the coach has a coach who's helping me pursue my goals. It's helping me on that path. So who specializes in that? Now, you may need a trainer who specializes in quick workouts. I need quick and easy workouts. Easy, maybe not easy, but I need quick workouts that I can get in, get out, 20 minutes, 30 minutes less. That's maybe the type of trainer you're looking for, right? Does that make sense? So specialties too. Maybe you are in your older age, 60s. I know a lot of people that work with me, now again, I'm not personal training, but I know I have worked in the past with people that had injuries, older, aches and pains and joint issues. They came to me because I had the background in physical therapy. I worked in orthopedics. I understand hip replacements and hip injuries and knee replacements and shoulder replacements and back problems and everything under the sun when it comes to joint issues and limitations and injuries, past injuries. Again, make sure if you have injuries, you're going to probably need to find a trainer who can help you work through those injuries. It probably would help that they have some education and background in there, or at least smart enough to maybe collaborate with your physician, your current physician. So that is number 5. We got 5 more to go. If you're with me and you're coming on here, if you're coming on a replay, just hit replay so I know when you watch it. It helps me understand what time you're watching and when you're watching it. So number 6, of course, cost. Now, cost, a lot of times people say, well, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. To some extent, that's true. Just depends. Not to say that there aren't some probably starting out trainers that are good, they're probably less expensive. And then, of course, you're going to get what you pay for with experience. I know when I started out, I was making this is back in the 90s, $20 an hour or so, something like that. And I think maybe personal trainers now average anywhere from $50 to $80. I know some personal trainers getting $200 to $300 a session. You're like, oh man, I'm in the wrong profession, wrong field, right? Well, it just depends on the cost, right? Some trainers are going to be more expensive than others. Just know what you're paying for. So with a personal trainer, I'm telling you from experience, I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in personal training. That's what I've done for 20 years. I've made hundreds, not a few $1,000, not $50,000, not 100. I've made a few $100,000 in personal training. And I would say 99% of that money that I made was for the time that I spent with that client. In other words, people paid me for my time. It was mostly an hour, sometimes 30 minutes, but the majority of clients paid for me by the hour. They paid a set fee for the hour, and that's what you pay for. So if you're thinking, say it's $50 to $75 a session, let's just say it's on the lower side, $50 a session, and you're going 3 times a week, that's $150. You look, that's maybe 30-minute sessions, hour and a half. $150, that's $600 a month for personal training. That's what you're getting for personal training. So your cost is going to be for the time you spend with the trainer, not to help you with diet, not for accountability, not to make sure you don't go binging on the weekends, none of that stuff. Simply for the time you spend with that trainer. So your costs, that of course is something to consider before hiring your personal trainer. And that's regarding if it's even online or in person. Now, availability, of course, this one's an interesting one because the hard thing with good personal trainers, I know, I've seen it. I've even had up to 7 trainers when we own Atlantic Beach Performance here in my neighborhood. I opened a personal training. It was kind of a hybrid type facility where we did group fitness and personal training. And at one time we had 7 trainers. And so I know what was hard as far as availability is the good trainers. Of course, if you're a good trainer, chances are you have a full schedule because again, you only are as good as the time you're spending. And if you're a good trainer, people are going to want to get on your schedule, right? So chances are if you have a trainer that's super open, that has a total availability, chances are they're probably either a brand new trainer or they're maybe not very good trainer because they don't have people they're working with. Again, and that goes into relating to all the other things, right? That's availability. Now there's 3 other things. We have 3 more things: location, progress, and reputation. So location, of course, that's a simple one, right? Location. If you are a busy mom or dad and you have a busy business and your busy family life, maybe you got to run the kids to sports, and maybe you have to commute for work, and then maybe your trainer that you're considering is like 30-40 minutes away, that's going to be hard. So you want to make sure you're mindful of location if you want to have that consistent progress with your trainer. So be careful where you pick the trainer. Choose wisely as far as convenient. So if you're looking for a local one, make sure you find one that's going to be convenient, you can get to pretty easily depending on what your schedule is at and the time that you're going to see them. Progress. And now actually back on the availability one, I had to touch on that. It just popped up in my mind. I remember really the hard thing with availability is most people want to work out at the same time, early mornings or late in the evenings. During the day, for the most part, not too much, right? Maybe unless you have a job that you can work out of the home and you can slip away for an hour or so. But for the majority, so the hard thing is finding availability, the time that's ideal for you. And God forbid you miss your appointment, chances are you're not going to be able to make that up, right? Unfortunately, that's just how that works. So location, we figure that you want to make sure it's pretty close in the location. And then progress and reputation, the last 2. So progress, at the end of the day, really kind of comes down to this. The bottom line is you want to make sure that you have a trainer who's going to help give you progress. It's called results. Like if you are getting results with your trainer, great. Or like if you know a trainer can get results, great. But if you've seen trainers, maybe you've gone to the local gym, maybe you're even at that gym and you're considering hiring that personal trainer in the new year. Maybe you had a good year and you just took maybe more care of your business, because it was a struggle this year for a lot of people and your health kind of went to the wayside, right? And you're thinking, now I should just hire a personal trainer who can kick my butt back into gear, right? Well, the hard thing is, you got to find somebody that is actually going to make sure you progress. That's going to make sure you get results. At the end of the day, you need to have a trainer that's going to get your results. 2 things. You have to do the work. Now, your trainer can show you what to do and can work you out hard, but of course you have 23 and a half hours. That's the hard thing about personal training is that you're only spending money, you're only investing in the time with the trainer you spend with it. It's actually why I love what I do now online, because I get to work with people anytime, all the time. I get to come on, I get to help them in a lot of different areas, not just in that one time when they work out. In fact, all my clients do the workouts when they want to work out. That works most convenient for them. And then I help them with the other things to build the habits they need for lifelong success. Hence the word bulletproof in my title. So that's number 9. Now, again, and I'm not a personal trainer, so I'm not working people out. I'm not counting reps. I'm not picking up weights. I'm not saying, hey, you got 6 more in you. That's not me. It used to be for a long time. Now that's progress. The last one, reputation. I know being in the industry, there's trainers that have a good reputation, and there's other trainers that don't have a good reputation. There's trainers just like anything in business. You can look, like when it comes down to the integrity of their business and their livelihood, I take what I do very, very seriously. Now, I like to have fun and goof around and talk about lots of life stuff and share my faith and be open about that and all those things. And again, that comes back to the personality. But as far as reputation, again, I would say it's something that unfortunately, right? We see enough when something happens and the world knows, or even your community knows, or even a neighbor knows something you don't do. That's kind of like not so right to do, right? The difference between some right things and some wrong things, or how you run your business, or how you train your clients or coach your clients, or whatever, all those things, right? I know in the personal training industry, just like every other industry, there's lots of good trainers and there's lots of not so good trainers. There's some good trainers that have good reputation, and there's some trainers that don't have good reputation. So be careful, take your time, go through this list, go through the credentials, make sure you have a trainer that has good credentials, that has experience, that you can connect with. I would suggest maybe buying a couple of sessions or letting them train you a couple of sessions to see if your personalities would match up. Philosophy, make sure that they're in lines with what you're trying to achieve. It would be good to connect, probably a consultation. On specialties, make sure if they're specializing in hardcore lifting, or they're in figure competing or bodybuilding, and you're just that mom who's trying to lose the weight from having a kid and your kids are teenagers now, that might not be the right fit for you. So, and then cost, of course, you got to make sure that you have it and it's in your budget, right? You have to make sure that it's an investment. Now, I'll tell you, anytime you're investing in your health is going to be a very wise investment, whether it be with a trainer, whether it be with a piece of exercise equipment. The hard thing is making sure that you invest wisely. You can make some terrible investments. I know people that invested in terrible trainers in the past and wasted a lot of money. I know a lot of people that have invested tons and tons and tons of money, and are probably going to do that this month as well, in exercise equipment, in gadgets and gizmos and things that are going to be and even quick fixes and things like that. I know people that have spent thousands and thousands of dollars over the years, failing and getting lured in and really not investing wisely. That's why I want to make sure that you understood this. Now, again, in availability, make sure your trainer is available at the times you want to work out. Location, a good location, that probably help in the availability. Somebody that's going to get you results, and make sure that you progress accordingly. And of course, a trainer that has a good reputation. So with that, I hope it helps. I hope if you are, before you do go and hire a personal trainer, if you are actually really seriously considering, feel free to hit me up with a message. If you're like, hey, I'm thinking about a trainer doing this, and this, reach out. I'd be happy to help. Now, again, I'm an online coach. I don't do personal training right now, but I do know that a lot of people will invest a lot of their hard-earned money in a personal trainer, and they'll make a bad investment because it'll be a trainer that won't serve them well, that won't help them get results, that won't be the right fit, that won't be the right cost, won't be the right location, that won't have the right credentials, that won't have any experience, that really won't have a good personality, that really won't have the same kind of philosophy, that won't really even have the ability to get you results. And I would hate for you to go spending and wasting money on that. So reach out to me and let me know if there's any way I can help. Take care. That's it for me. Talk to you soon. I'm the Bulletproof Christian Fitness Mentor. God bless.